Hey guys, this is Maple Notchman, and I've been getting a lot of questions from the squad about how I'm running my search and rescue for the burning stations. So let me kind of walk you guys through what I'm doing. I'm using an Anaconda on my alt account, but you could use anything from a Python to a Type 6. I've seen people in Diamondback Explorers. So kind of get the idea. I'll walk you through how I built this ship, and then you can use that to apply to whatever ship you want to build. So kind of my idea here is to haul a bunch of passengers, but also to be able to collect all the materials that are inside the station at the same time. And I'm going to show you later in the video how we actually do that. So to walk through the build really quick, I'm running a 4A shield generator, which is kind of mediocre size. So I went with 4 boosters, A grade, this is all unengineered, and then a bunch of heatsink launchers. You could probably get away with 2 or 3 if you're going to be hovering, collecting materials. You don't need a whole lot of them, but I just put 4 on here just because there was room. And, also just in case you forget to reload on a trip, it helps. No hard points. And then for optional internals, I'm running size 7 cargo rack because as you load up with all these materials, you're going to need some room to save them. That way you can complete the missions, because you might not quite have the right materials for the right missions. And again, I'll get into that later in the video. Then I've got 6E economy passenger cabins, self-explanatory. 5A collector limpet controllers. You could also go with 5Bs here. Bs have more range, but they have less time, whereas the As have more time. So I went with the As in this case. In the military slot, I'm running a hull reinforcement just to give myself a little bit more hull, just in case something happens. And then more economy slots. And then in the size 1 slot, I put a collector limpet controller here, but you could run a Guardian FSD booster, a shield reinforcement, you could run a module reinforcement, although module reinforcements don't help with heat damage, so not terribly useful. You could also do an auto dock if that's what you're into. I'm not really into those. So moving over into the core internals, military grade composite. I'm planning on using this as a combat ship sooner or later. But you could run reinforced, or you could leave it lightweight. I haven't actually lost my shield yet doing this, so I mean, it's up to you. You get more hull out of the military grade, so why not if you have the money. Now on the power plant, this is kind of important. So you want the one that has the best heat efficiency. So I would definitely go A grade over any of the other options. Yeah, so definitely get the A grade power plant. Smaller is better because it's lighter. Again, none of this is engineered, so you can sell these modules back when you're done. But yeah, this will make your resting heat lower, which means that you're going to heat up, slower in the station. For thrusters, I went with the best thrusters, 7As on this particular ship. I did not put dirty drives on them because I want them. Well, first of all, you lose thermal efficiency. And then second of all, it ruins your optimal mass. So, you'll get a lot more drift, which is not really something that I want. So I'll put dirty drives on these later when I make this a combat ship. 6A FSD, just so I can jump around. D-rate the life support. I went with a small power distributor, so basically the smallest one that will power. You could do an even smaller one and engine engineer it for engine focused, but I'm not going to be keeping this. I'm going to use something else, so no reason to really mess with it. 8D sensors just to be light. So that's kind of the build. Let me hop in the ship. I'm going to fill up on some collector limpets. You probably want to grab 20 to 30 just so you have spares, and I will meet you over at the burning station. Alright, so we're on approach to Han Gateway, which is one of the stations that's currently on fire. So we're going to drop in here.
Attention, Commander. This is Federal Flight Control. This station is undergoing emergency evac. If you do not intend to assist in the rescue effort, do not attempt
Now
to land.
be sure to request docking.
Priority access granted. Hope you can help out, Commander.
And we're just going to take it nice and easy. Once we get kind of lined up with the slot, then I'm going to switch 4 pips into systems, just in case we hit any of the wreckage. For the station. Now remember, for Anaconda, the cockpit's on the top, so you want to hug the top of the slot. Alright, there's 40, that's our docking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get through here. I'm going to start launching collector limpets. And open my cargo scoop. I'm just going to come over here and hover on top of my pad, but I'm not so close to my pad that I actually start docking. So you'll find a good spot where you're not loitering, and I'm just going to sit. And my heat just got up to about 90%, so I'm going to pop a heat sink. Definitely I recommend finding an actual key to pop your heat sinks. Don't try and use fire groups for them. You want to have hotkeys for all that, like your chaff, your shield cell banks. Don't use fire groups. That's a waste of a fire group. And so I'm just going to watch my heat, and I'm picking up everything. I'm getting engineering materials, and I'm getting all the search and rescue stuff. Alright, I'm getting close to 90% again, so I'm going to pop another heat sink. I don't think I've picked up any grade 5s yet, but I've seen lots of grades 1 through 4, so it's nice to pick them up. And literally, the more you just sit here and you're not doing any thruster inputs or anything, it'll help your heat stay down. Same thing when you're doing silent running. The less thruster inputs you have, the less heat you're going to generate. It's been tested. There's tons of YouTube videos on it. Alright, popping another heatsink. And we're just, like I said, we're just picking up. Like, we can look at our inventory, and you can just see I was empty at the beginning of this, and just look at all the stuff that we're picking up. And we're literally just going to pick up all this stuff until either we're full or it's gone. Which should be here pretty quick. You might also want to keep making sure that you got all your collector limpets out. And then also another pro tip, when you're launching your collector limpets, just like when you're mining, don't target anything. Don't target a specific thing to pick up, or else they will pick up that item only and then destroy themselves. Just launch them blindly, and they will pick up whatever's around. You can also check your contacts list to see what is out there still. So it looks like we still just have a couple things. Should be done here pretty quick. It looks like I just lost some of my limpets, so I'll launch some more. No valid collection targets. Alright, stop launching limpets. When I launch limpets, I just hold the fire group button down. Just let them spew out. And this takes a minute or two, but I think it's well worth it. We just got our heat warning, so I'm going to pop another heat sink. Alright, we're getting no more valid collector targets. Take a look at contacts. Yeah, pretty much collector limpets and ejected heat sinks. We got a couple more escape pods coming in, and that's about it. Alright, so I think we're pretty much done. I'm going to start landing. I don't see any of my collector limpets still carrying anything, so I'm just going to hop into the pad here, put my landing gear down. Now, I prefer to leave my landing gear up while I'm collecting, because it seems like, and I don't know if this is confirmed, but it seems like the limpets will hit your landing gear sometimes and kill themselves. I didn't put my cargo scoop up, it does it automatically when it lands. Alright, so the next step now is the passenger phase of this. What I like to do is I like to wait until the station moves us in. That way, we kind of minimize the time that the passengers are, sitting around in our ship. Also, I'm in solo because, when I'm hauling these guys, I just don't want to wait in line. I don't want to wait for people. It's perfectly okay to haul these guys in solo. So let's hop into the missions. Now, I'm running missions for the EDF. We go into the passenger lounge. Go over here to EDF, Earth Defense Fleet. That's our player faction for our squad. And I'm going to grab all of these guys.
Incoming mission critical message.
Oh, so we grabbed all our EDF people and we're going to launch. Now at the same time, this is when I set my course on the nav panel over to the rescue ship. So that way it'll be pre-highlighted.
Warning. Temperature critical.
And we're about ready to lift off. I'm going to lift off. I'm also going to hit a heat sink because we're probably overheating. And I'm going to put 4 pips into engines. If you think you're going to hit some junk, then put 4 pips into shields.
Deployed.
But I think we're pretty safe here. Maybe when you're going through the slot, if you need to, put 4 pips to shields. Alright, so we're out through the slot. I'm going to boost. Now, I only collect on the way in. And the reason I don't collect on the way out is because there's time limits on the passengers, and they do not like to sit around and collect stuff. So, collect on the way in, grab your passengers, and then get out as quick as you can. So we're just going to 4 pips to engines, we're boosting, full throttle, and then we're going to jump into Super Cruise here. We've already got the rescue ship targeted from earlier. Alright, we're in Super Cruise. I'm just going to stay full throttle. There's no need to do the 7-second rule here. We can just full throttle because we're under 1,000,000 kilometers per second, or under 1,000 kilometers per second, 1,000,000 meters per second. And we're going to drop in. I almost missed it. And we're just going to head boost straight towards the station. Alright, we're in range, request docking. Nice thing about solo is you'll get in quick every time. You can use your little compass here to see where your landing pad is. 01, there's our pad. Also need to see, I think we're going the wrong way here, so we're going to have to flip a U-turn. So the number will always be in the front of the pad, so you always want to nose into the number. It's a good rule of thumb. Alright, landing gear. Oop, overshot a little bit. Reverse, reverse. I always like to give my passengers a nice smooth landing.
Engines disengaged.
Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is dump off my passengers before I refuel or any of that, just because they're impatient. And you can pick what reward you want. I'm picking influence because, the EDF in this system, we're trying to boost their influence. So there we go. Alright, passengers are safe and sound. Now another thing to keep in mind is any of the passengers that have the Federation symbol to the right of their name, see where that Federation symbol is? Those are the ones that are going to give you Federation rep for your rank. So definitely take those, and then as a reward, pick the rep reward, if that's what you're going for. So keep that in mind. The next step, now we picked up all that stuff. Let's go over to the mission board. And basically, I'm going to go to the Earth Defense Fleet, and I'm going to take all of these missions. And most of them, I already have the materials for. And this gets a little bit glitchy. So usually what I do is I just accept all the missions, I exit out, and then I come back in, and we'll see which ones we're able to turn in. In this case, we're able to turn in all of these. So I'm going to turn this one in. I'm going to pick influence. You could pick engineering materials. It's not a bad one. But I'm going to pick influence. This one, let me see, my rep's already maxed out. I don't need micro cooling hoses, so I guess I'll take the money. influence, and module terminals can be nice to unlock an engineer, but I'll just take money. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to rinse and repeat this. I'm just going to keep going back. Don't forget to come in here and refuel, restock, and grab some limpets. Check your ship integrity and make sure that's repaired. Restock and refill back up on limpets. I think I only used about 16 or something like that. I think I had 30. So now keep in mind that I still have an inventory of stuff. So you know, you're not gonna. You could take missions from other factions. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just doing the EDF. But what I'm gonna do is when I'm done, I'm gonna head over to Gressley, that's currently controlled by the EDF, and I'm gonna dump all this stuff off in the search and rescue contact. So basically, you go into contacts, and then go search and rescue, and you can turn all this stuff in. But I'm going to do that over at Gressley Station, just in case it counts for the EDF. I don't know. I'm not a background simulation expert, so who knows. So, alright, so that's the idea. Rinse and repeat. Rescue lots of passengers, and have a great day.